Welcome to Chapter 3 in Unit 8 of our 4A series. In this chapter we're going to discuss electrical metering devices. So there are three objectives to get through for this chapter. First, describe electrical meters and their uses. 2, describe how voltage, current and resistance are measured in an electrical circuit. And finally, number 3, describe the construction and operation of a kilowatt-hour meter. So before we get stuck into our first objective, there's a big caveat emptor here I need you to be aware of. And caveat emptor is just a fancy Latin word for buyer beware. Now, I mentioned to you in a previous chapter that electrical engineering principles sort of gets overlooked really as a power engineer, and also power engineers seem to traditionally struggle with it. Not all of them, just sort of as a general trend. And this is typically because, electrically speaking, we don't have that much to do with electrical work. Now, as far as electrical work goes, we do perform safe isolations, such as isolating electrical circuits and locking them out, but as a power engineer, we do not perform electrical work. Meaning, we don't remove fuses, for example. We don't connect up wires or cables to things like electrical motors. We don't change connections on things. All sorts of stuff like that, that is what an electrician is for. However, because we are a power engineer and we can generate electrical power as part of our job, we need to have an understanding of it. Now, why are we learning about electrical meters? We're not going to be testing electrical circuits, are we? Well, no, we're not. But don't forget that on panels such as generator panels that you'll see in the Power Lab, we have things like voltmeters, power meters, kVA meters, ammeters, and all these sorts of things are electrical instruments, and as we are reading them, we should have an appreciation for how they work and exactly what it is they are reading. So that's the sort of background as to why we're doing this, and also the buyer beware tag that's attached to it. Alright then, so let's jump in and sort out objective 1 first, which is to describe electrical meters and their uses. And of course, by no means are we describing all electrical meters, we're just going to talk about the main ones that we are required to discuss here at 4th class. Okay, so there are 5 main meters that we can have a brief chat about throughout this chapter. That is the voltmeter, the ammeter, the ohmmeter, the wattmeter, and the energy meter. So pretty straightforward, a voltmeter measures volts. An ammeter measures amps, that is electrical current. An ohmmeter measures ohms, that is electrical resistance. A wattmeter measures watts, that is electrical power, and an energy meter measures joules. However, in the electrical industry, we don't use joules very much, we use kilowatt hours. So that's what we typically have for energy meters. And these are the variety of instruments that you're most likely to come across in your power engineering careers. There are some other ones, for example, like power factor meters, but we'll mention those a lot later. Okay, now in terms of instruments themselves, we've got a couple of options. They can either be analog or they can be digital. An analog meter is pictured on the left, and this is a rather famous electrical multimeter referred to as an avometer. These were around when I was doing my apprenticeship as an electrician, and yes, they look old and extremely big, however, they are an extremely good and accurate meter. So an analog instrument basically has a needle that indicates where we are on the scale, and we can then adjust that scale range depending upon what it is we are reading. The instrument on the right-hand side is far more modern, and this is a digital instrument that has an LCD display, which is liquid crystal display, so you simply read it off in numbers. And both of these instruments pictured are referred to as multimeters. That is, they'll read more than one thing. They'll read voltage, they'll read current, etc. Okay, now with regards to electrical meters, we have to be careful of the ratings of those meters and also the quality in terms of their construction. Now, all electrical instruments and meters have safe values for voltage and current. That is, they're going to be rated for a particular electrical circuit in terms of their voltage and current. We are never to exceed the rating of the meter. Now, meters do have fuses in them, and if you do exceed the rating, the fuse should blow, and that would therefore protect you. However, it is going to damage the meter, and we can also possibly get an electric shock ourselves. So we should never exceed the ratings of what they are set. Now, also, instruments that we use and instruments electricians use, these have to be UL, ULC or CSA approved. UL is Underwriters Laboratory, ULC is Underwriters Laboratory Canada, and CSA is the Canadian Standards Association. So basically, if they have this approval on them, it means they are approved use for electrical equipment in Canada, which means they've been made to the standard as required by the CSA or the ULC. And that's something that we should also always be looking for on electrical meters. Now, of course, this refers more to handheld meters that somebody like an electrician will be using. We don't typically use those instruments, but it's certainly something that you should be aware of. For example, if an electrician was on your site and they were not using a CSA or ULC approved meter, they should not be using it at all, and something like that is something that you shouldn't definitely know about, as it's a safety concern. Okay, so let's get into the types of meters there are in general. The first one here is a non-contact meter, and these are really popular, and you do see a lot of power engineers carrying these around. It basically looks like a great big Sharpie pen, and what you do with this thing is you maneuver the tip of the pen close to the electrical circuit, but it doesn't make any physical contact with the circuit. If the circuit is live, the end of the pen will then light up when you bring it near a live conductor, and this works on a principle called mutual induction. Now, this is a great way to determine whether or not a circuit is dead, and it also is a great way of doing a sort of bump test, which means after you've isolated the electrical circuit, you can hover your pen over it, and if the pen lights up, well then I guess you got the wrong circuit, or it's fed from an alternate source. So these are really important. Now, notice on this particular pen here that's pictured in figure 1 of your textbook that on the right hand end of the pen you can see in a circle there, if you look very closely, it's got UL on it. That's the Underwriters Laboratory, which means this is an approved pen for use in these examples. Now, you'll also notice on this particular pen, i.e. the non-contact meter, that it has a rating of between 100 to 600 volts, which means you certainly should never be using this pen if it was something like 2000 volts. That's way above what this is rated for, and you can damage the equipment. So only use it on the approved rating. Okay, now it's common for electricians to carry around things called multimeters. And a multimeter simply means it is a meter that can measure multiple things. And the typical things that you can note here on this fluke meter on the right are it can measure voltage, current, continuity, which is usually an audible test, or it can measure the resistance, and finally, some of them, not this particular one, but some of them can also do insulation resistance as well. Now, you can see on the front of this meter that it has a dial, and at the moment it is dialed to select V with that wavy line above it. That is voltage for the V, and the wavy line means alternating current. If you then turn it one click to the right going clockwise, you can then see it says V with a dashed line and a straight line. This is still voltage, but that's now DC. If you turn it one more click, that's now millivolts DC. Turn it to the 12 o'clock position, you're now measuring continuity. Now, what is that? If the circuit is continuous when the switch is closed, for example, it will make a beeping sound to let you know there are no breaks in the circuit. If you then open the switch, the buzzing will stop, which means you now have a break in the circuit. So electricians can use this to determine continuity as to whether or not there's a break, for example, in your cable. If we turn it again, a click to the right, ignore that next one, that's for testing capacitors, which we won't be discussing. Turn it again to the right, and we're now into our 3 current ratings. The first one, the A, with the solid line and the dashed line above it, that is measuring current, and this is going to be alternating or DC current. One more click to the right, milliamp DC or AC current. And one more click to the right, microamps DC or AC current. And then finally, this one can also measure temperature as well. At the bottom of the instrument, you can also see various terminals, and that depends upon what we are actually testing. The common terminal, which is the black coloured one, that is where the black lead will always be connected to, and then they can move the other lead to either the amps, milliamps and microamps, or the voltage, resistance, temperature, diodes or capacitors on the far right one. So they'll move that other lead around depending upon what they're testing. At the top, you have the hold, range and frequency buttons, for example. So for hold, you can hold a reading on the screen, and for the range, you can adjust the range depending upon what it is you are reading. Ignore the next two buttons. We won't really be getting into relative or frequency themselves. Okay, so that's basically it really of all we need to talk about regarding the overview of basic electrical meters and what they are used for. In Objective 2, when you come back and see me, we'll start to get into the nitty-gritty of voltage, current and resistance of measurements in electrical circuits. And we'll actually get in and take some virtual measurements of voltage and current so we can see how they're connected into the electrical circuit. So a very quick Objective 1, give it a quick read, and then when you're ready, come back and see me for Objective 2. Take care.